Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Tailosive Tech live on Twitch. So the last live stream I did was on YouTube, and I thought that the Galaxy Buds Plus were going to be in the box with the S20 Ultra. They were not, because even though they said like my order is being prepared or whatever, and it listed the Ultra alongside the Galaxy Buds Plus, they decided to ship them separately. So I got this one several days earlier. But before we start, the Lion 378, thank you for the 16 months of Twitch Prime, very much appreciated, and thank you for the bits, Seawobs. He's the first bits. So this did not deserve its own dedicated video because I have reviewed Galaxy Buds. In fact, I reviewed them last year. And given there's the Plus version now, which apparently they are supposed to sound a little bit better and they have better battery performance. And they also just threw them in with the Ultra at no additional cost. So if you pre-ordered an Ultra, you get a free pair of these. The ironic part is that the price of the Ultra is probably more so than what just buying an iPhone with AirPods would cost anyway. So people are like, yeah, Apple doesn't include AirPods. Yeah, but they're not asking, this much for the phone. So it's still cool. I still think it's awesome they include the new wireless buds for free when you pre-order. That's a decent deal. Liquid Retina, 14 months. Thank you for Twitch priming. Dancing Drew is back. Favorite part of the stream. Yes, of course. Of course. The Twitch streams. As long as I have this set up, I think I can stick with the Dancing Drew. Ihirasawa subscribed with Twitch Prime for 18 months, saying, yeah, thank you very much. Okay, let's get it going. In just a second, hold on. Someone's got a question. Did you know the S10 has a photo editing built into the software? Do you think we will get that from iOS someday? What do you mean photo editing? You have that on iOS. You just mean like more extreme photo editing? Like more advanced? More so than just crop and filter and exposure and saturation and what do you mean, like drawing? I don't know. Um, you guys mentioned you can't control AirPods without an Apple Watch, but you can use any smartwatch. Yeah, but if you're getting a smartwatch, get an Apple Watch. Come on. It's still a purchase away from a solution. Anyway, I don't have the two camera angles this time because I figured there wasn't going to be much to this unboxing. It would be more of a impressions video. We got a little bit of tape. Shoot, let me get the knife. Big knife. Check out this thing. Whoa. Little tape on the bottom here. So these ones are just a little bit more expensive and they are better in every way. So why do they still sell the original Galaxy Buds? I don't even know. Oh, like you can add photos together. There's third-party apps that do that are very cheap. Okay, so you open it up. I got the glossy black pair because that's everything from Samsung lately. I assume they charge with USB-C, and that's probably what this box is, so I'm actually not going to touch that. But look at this little pill thing. How does that... Woo! Okay. I could have dropped it there. So it comes out with the little plastic wrap around it. Man, I can't swallow the pill. It's too big. But man, that's going to get a lot of fingerprints, I can already tell. But hey, we wanted black AirPods, so here you go. Let me pull the plastic off here. You can hear it. Oh, it's tearing. Why would it tear? Is that not how it comes off? Oh, okay. It's the adhesive. It's acting a little weird. Or I could just slide it off like that. That's a lot easier. Okay, so we got USB-C on the back, obviously. We got our glossy case. MJ, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Kind of like Photoshop. Let's see if these do the AirPod replication thing for setup. So I'm going to hold the Ultra here. I'm going to hold the new Galaxy Buds here. Definitely still plastic, that's for sure. Open them up. We got the light. Hey! Whoa, look at that animation. That's a lot like the W1 chip. Cool. New device has been detected. I'm going to hit connect. Allow Galaxy Wearable to access your contacts. Sure. Allow Galaxy Wearable to make and manage... Oh, they got rid of that. Now it's just the battery life indicators, which is kind of cool. Oh, now they're asking again. Allow Galaxy Wearable to make and manage phone calls. Allow Galaxy Wearable to access this device's location. Well, using the app. Allow Galaxy Wearable to access photos, media, and files. Why did the Buds need to access photos? What are they going to use photos for? Whatever. I'll hit allow. To use the Galaxy Wearable app, you need to allow access to location all the time. Galaxy Wearable uses this permission to scan for me. Okay, I'll hit retry. They need me to say all the time. It's like, why do you need me to ask? Is it just not going to work? So setting up your phone, now it's an app that has to open. It's like the Wearables app. Ooh, these things, they're already moving around a lot. I feel like they'll just fall out. Huh. That's a cool inside, though. They look really nice. Allow Galaxy Buds Plus to access your contacts, access your calendar, access your phone call logs, to send and view SMS messages. Allow. All right. Agree to terms and conditions. Stay in touch with your surroundings. Next. Start Spotify from your earbuds. Okay. You all assume I have Spotify already. Photos access needed for your earbuds. Thank you, Android. This is the exact problem I remember happening. It's not a problem, it's just kind of annoying. It's like the first time. There's a reason AirPods are really successful, and you don't see that many people bragging about Galaxy Buds or that many memes about Galaxy Buds. Even though they're cheaper, a lot of people say they sound better. A lot of people will say, like, well, the individual buds have better batteries, so they could be better than AirPods in almost every single way, but it's the convenience factor that AirPods do so well on, is because you can just open the lid, hit connect, boom. So they give you all these options within the app. Ambient sound, equalizer, notifications, touchpad, advanced Find My Earbud. So this is kind of cool. I'd be kind of down. There's already an update out of the box, so I can hit view update. They want to update the buds. You know what? I'll do that later because that might take a while. Time to make privacy memes about the Galaxy Buds. So much for a seamless setup. You have to hit allow about... Did you guys count how many times? Was that like 15 times or something? I should just put these in. Equalizer set to normal by default. Again, there's the case, and yes, I have the AirPods Pro here, so I thought it might be fun to do like a side-by-side comparison. I'll connect them to my iPhone. It's a one-time setup, though. Yes, but that one-time setup makes all the difference. It's kind of like before AirPods... Setting up Bluetooth was a little bit annoying. You had to go to settings and Bluetooth and pair and everything. But afterwards, it should automatically connect each time, right? But it's that first time convenience, that first time initial setup that makes a big difference for people. Allow Galaxy Buds Plus to manage your financial and social life. Correct. Okay, I'm going to try these. This is the right one. Whoa. There's a lot of detail in these things. So, okay, earwax, here we come. It's in the right. They're not making any noises so far. They're not making like a connected noise. Oh, the left one made one. Okay, so now I cannot hear my surroundings. So do we have like a transparency mode? Let me turn on ambient sound. Now, ooh, okay. This is kind of like, ambient sound is kind of like transparency mode, but this is like worse. This is like with AirPods Pro, if you turn on transparency mode, it almost sounds like you're not wearing headphones. There's like a little bit of tinniness on the highs, but for the most part, it sounds like you're just hearing your natural environment. Whereas this, you can tell there's not so much pass through like there is with AirPods Pro, because I have ambient sound on. I can turn it up here. Ooh. Keep the outer mic clear. Yeah, when you turn up ambient sound all the way, you're kind of hearing both. I don't know how to describe it, but like you're hearing what you hear in your head when you put on like those passive noise canceling headphones with the rubber seal, because that's what they are. They're the rubber tips. You put in the rubber tips, and then you know how you can kind of hear your inner voice. It's like really loud when your audio is closed off and you're not hearing your surroundings. I'm hearing that, and also I'm hearing my surroundings. Whereas AirPods, I think, can kind of merge them into one, at least with AirPods Pro. I'm not an audiophile. I'm just doing my best to describe how this sounds, which is, I mean, objectively worse than transparency mode, because, like, when you turn up ambient sound, there's, like, white noise. It's, like, really noticeable, significant white noise. Whereas AirPods Pro transparency mode, you usually don't hear anything. It's like the headphones aren't even there. Whereas this, it's like, yep, I can hear the inner voice and I can hear the exterior. The experience isn't as dynamic or as seamless. So they're just another pair of AirPods Pro clones that are worse in almost every way. Well, they are much cheaper, guys. Let's give them some credit here. These are $150, which are still cheaper than the cheapest AirPods Apple sells, and they're USB-C. I love that. And they're wireless charging compatible, which the cheapest wireless charging compatible AirPods are $200. Again, $150. And they have a very good battery life per bud. So if you use headphones for prolonged periods of time, these things are still, I believe that in the box it says 11 hours. Yeah, 11 hours of playtime. Now, the charge case does not add too much compared to AirPods Pro. And with traditional AirPods, it's like you got 5 hours of listening time per bud, and then they have to charge. But the case will give them like 24 hours of battery life. Whereas this, I don't think will give you quite 24 hours, but individual buds, 11 hours is pretty good. Let's see. Scott, sub with Twitch Prime for 17 months. Thank you. It says, hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome, Scott. Samsung is putting in a feature similar to what Apple did, but worse. No one saw this coming. Okay, let me listen to... maybe I should turn off ambient noise. Shoot, where did that app go? I lost it. Can we add that to the Wear app? I'm just going to turn off ambient sound. So now I'm just hearing my internal voice. I'm not hearing my surroundings. Someone could be breaking in and robbing my house right now. But it's passive. It's still pretty quiet, though. So let me pull up some Tailosive music that you guys won't be able to hear because I'm listening to it on headphones. Luckily, I've actually worn AirPods Pro quite a bit, so I know how they feel. My ears are very comfortable with them. And I'll know how these sound in comparison. So the latest Tailosive music video is only 14 hours ago. Let's give it a try. Skylike Samurai. Seems pretty quiet so far. It's a quiet song, too. It's a decent bass. Those basses are really coming in. We'll skip ahead. Whoa. When that bass drops, the bass sounds excellent. To me. From an AirPods user. I like the bass. Okay. They don't get crazy loud, but I guess that's a good thing. Am I talking a lot louder than I normally talk? I'm sorry. The highs are a little tinny. Those higher notes. But not bad sounding at all. I need to do a direct comparison. I got my Pro Max here. I want to go back. And AirPods Pro. So I should listen to this same song with the Pros. They're very solid. They're not falling out of my ear, which is good. Yeah, they're very fixed in my ear, and I believe in the package there are more rubber tip sizes, just like AirPods Pro, which is good. But no, the audio quality is great. I like it a lot. How does that look? Do you guys prefer this to the stem thing? So that's how I pause. I can double tap. That's cool. Overachiever donated. Thank you very much. Oh, that's skipped. Sorry. 1 tap pauses. And I think 2 taps skips. Got it. Overachiever donated. Thank you. He says, I know this is a little off topic, but since Samsung went overkill with their naming by adding Ultra and skipping 9 generations, how much more ridiculous do you think smartphone naming will get in the next few years? We've gotten to the point now where almost no naming scheme makes any sense anymore. I still think S20, I kind of get what they were going for. Like, it's not consistent with the rest of their lineup, but they're, I think, going to move with the years now. So they figured it's 2020, S20. It makes a little bit of sense. It's easy. And I actually really want to give Samsung credit for calling it Ultra. Because, like, everybody in the industry, including Apple, is calling everything Pro. OnePlus Pro, LG, whatever. Like, does LG not have a Pro? That's a bad example. iPhone Pro. I'm just glad to see Samsung did something separate. Because now, when we're, like, talking about them in reviews and stuff, we can just say the Ultra. Which is a lot easier than saying the Pro Max. I prefer just saying Ultra. That like, from a naming, terminology sense, like, that's nicer. So I appreciate them for being different in that way. But sound quality's good. Let me. The case is super light compared to AirPods case. It's like these things they're kind of hollow. They're very tiny though. Look how small this case is. They're almost, yeah, I think it's technically smaller than AirPods Pro, which were already pretty small. Okay, they're a little chonker this way, but dang, they're pretty compact. It's a little bit taller when the AirPods Pro is laid down, but really really small, really light. Are they longer though? Yeah, they're a bit taller that way, side by side. Um, At the end, it's something in your ear. It's the same, but you have to call it Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra 5G. I refuse. Even if Apple puts 5G in the naming of the iPhones, I will not say that. That's so stupid. We didn't call it the iPhone 5 4G. We called it the iPhone 5. All right. So let me take these out. Ooh, I got a lot of earwax out of that. See, when I take them out, they automatically start playing, which is kind of backwards because they thought I was tapping them, but I wasn't. Okay, so they magnetically attach in, and I believe the last Galaxy Buds would fall out if I shook them hard enough. These don't feel... Yeah, see, I can knock them right out, but I think AirPods Pro is that way too. The only really, really solid AirPods is the originals. These things, it's very hard to knock these things out. Yeah, they're not even rattling. This is like twice as hard as I was shaking the Galaxy Buds Plus. AirPods Pro, though, I think they fall out easier. Hold on. Pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty solid. Okay, let me switch to the Pros. Tailosive Music is your record label. Tailosive Music is just a YouTube channel that promotes art. Wow, okay, that's so much better. See, this is transparency mode. They defaulted that when I put them on. And it's like you can't hear your inner voice like you could with the passive headphones. So this is a really, really smooth transition to okay. See, I didn't expect there to be this many differences. I just thought, Galaxy Buds is the same as last one. But now that I'm like comparing the two, I'm like, okay, this is a noticeable difference. So AirPods Pro, at the moment at least, are not falling out of my ear. Sometimes they do. Maybe it has something to do with the temperature. But like instantly when I put these in, it's like I'm not even wearing headphones. Like I can feel them a little bit in my ears, but the sound, the way I'm hearing the room, is almost identical to how it actually sounds. Whereas the ambient sound option for Galaxy Buds Plus, not even close. It's like obviously and noticeably different. Yes, you can hear what's going on in the room, but there's a lot more white noise. There's a little bit of white noise with transparency mode, but it's really, really quiet. You can barely hear it. Whereas on the Galaxy Buds, it was super noticeable. So, okay, let me make sure these are connected. I think they probably auto-connected to my iPad because that's what I used them on last. So I'm going to AirPlay them over to the iPhone here and connect. But no, like sound quality-wise, once the audio was actually playing on them, they sounded really... The Buds Plus sounded pretty good. Okay, so let me bring up that same music. I'm going to switch over to... Because it's on YouTube. Oh, I forgot about Tailosive Music. Same. A lot of people don't know about it. It's very different from the rest of the network, and I don't really run that channel. It's run by a fan of the network who contacted me years ago and said that he wanted to basically do a promotion channel, which is kind of like a radio station. You know, the radio station's not writing music; they're just finding artists and asking for permission to promote them, and they say yes, and then he'll upload the videos and with visualizers and stuff. And I found a lot of cool artists that way too. Okay, so this is connected. I'll listen to it now. I'll switch to the middle here. Okay. That's my direct comparison. You sound pretty awesome too. Hitting good bass. Maybe I should turn on ANC. All right. Good. I'm going to take them out. Switch over real quick. So so I don't have much time to forget what they sound like. Okay, we're connected. Little My Galaxy Buds Plus pops up when you put them in your ear, which is kind of cool. Ooh. I think the Buds Plus are actually really heavy on the bass. I think they're heavier, in fact. I think they're like noticeably, they go deeper, which I'm okay with. I like heavy hitting bass. So that's good. Watching a silent stream of someone listen to music via headphones, genius. I said impressions. There's very few ways I can I can do my best to describe them, but yeah, we can't really share that experience with trying on headphones. It's kind of like you watching a guy fold a phone for the first time, which you all watched. Well, a lot of you watched. But yeah, sound quality wise, at least with that video, it feels like the Buds Plus are prioritizing bass pretty heavily. That may be because they don't have ANC, but the AirPods Pro sound. Maybe it's just because I'm going back and forth, but the AirPods Pro to me sound pretty balanced. Like they're trying to hit mids and highs very equally, whereas the Buds Plus are just emphasizing the bass a little bit more, which is not bad. These do not sound bad by any means. They sound really good. It's kind of funny. They have these like reflection little triangles on the ends of the buds, and when I look at them, it makes your face look all warped. It looks very bizarre. They're very small though. It's amazing that like look at the size comparison here. This is the memed to death AirPod Pro right next to a Galaxy Bud Plus. Like this thing is tiny and it's able to get 11 hours of playback. That's pretty crazy, and I don't think I'm going to be able to test that. I don't think I can go through a test of just like listening to music for 11 hours. I'd have to take a break after a while, but hey, I mean, they're passive noise cancellation, which is decent. It's not as good as ANC, but it's pretty good. So they drop into the case like that. What is this? Is this a button? No, it isn't. It's just kind of weird. There's like this little rubber section that has left and right, and they pop out. There's little like bumps where the left and right letters are, and they kind of look like buttons, but I guess they're not. Does this have a? Yeah, I'm pressing it and it's not. So does this not have a pair button? Yeah, that was. I think I remember that being kind of an issue I had with the original Galaxy Buds. Is there's not like a pairing button. You know how the AirPods Pro have this button on the back, and the regular AirPods even have it on the back too. You can hold that to enter into like pairing mode, but I don't see one on the case here. I thought that little left-right thing. Maybe I should do a close-up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. It'll just be temporarily, and then we'll go back to this setup. But I'm sorry if my nails gross you out. Let me do a close-up here. I'm going to adjust the focus a little bit. There we go. So there's this rubber section here that says left and right, and that would be like a perfect place to put a button, like a pairing button when you want to switch it to other devices or something like that. That would have been really smart, but yeah, see the AirPods smartly puts them on the back here. So that's how you want to switch devices with the AirPods, but I'll take them out here. Look how tiny it is. They're so compact. It's amazing. Whew. Okay, and then if you take both of these out, this is what the case looks like. The inside, very, very light. Like this is super hollow. It feels like there's no battery in here at all. Like this is more of a traveling case than it is a battery case. Is that the right way? I'm gonna make sure I put these in the right way. I feel like I just got them backwards. Yeah, I think I did. I put them in backwards. Right, so they can go in backwards pretty easily. That might be part of the design flaw. But yeah, there you go. charge light on the outside's good, so you know when it's charging. USB-C. There you have it. Let me get myself back in focus here. All right. Slack. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub at 6 months. Electric. Yes, they are electric earbuds. And Kelly J's subscribed for 2 months. Thank you very much as well. Appreciate the Twitch Prime. I do enjoy the Galaxy Buds, but my AirPods Pro is just perfect with noise cancellation. Yeah, I mean, it's probably not a fair comparison. I mean, I'm sure that video would probably do okay to be like AirPods Pro versus Galaxy Buds Plus, because it's like the next gen, the step up from the previous gen earbuds from both companies. But like one's $150, one's $250. I guess we compared AirPods to Galaxy Buds, and those aren't the same price, but they're a lot closer. There's only like $30 between those, not $100. Love you too. Thank you for Twitch Priming. The LNR are not even buttons, which is kind of the stupid design, actually. They look like they are. That's the deceiving thing, is they have like bumps in the rubber, so you feel like that's something you can press. Why does it have to... Oh, I guess the rubber probably helps pad the case as you close it. I think that, yeah, see, this is another issue I had with Galaxy Buds that I'm remembering. It's all coming back to me now. I haven't watched that video, I think, since I made it. I made the Galaxy Buds review last year. I posted it, and then I haven't seen it since. But as I'm using this, I'm discovering things. What I kind of like about AirPods is you can hold them like this and just one-handed, one thumb, check to make sure they're in there, kind of like a lighter. It's a little bit harder on the AirPods Pro, actually, because they're wide. It's even easier on the original AirPods because they're taller than they are wide, so you can just pop them open and close them and pop them open. It's kind of satisfying. With this, though, it's like... Oh, let me try to do it. Oh, okay. You can do it. It's just a little awkward. You have to really get that prying motion down. Maybe open it more like a... Not that this is something you do. Typically, it takes 2 hands to take them out and put them in your ears. But, yeah, it's kind of definitely more awkward to do with one hand. But just to check, you know, not necessarily to put them in your ears, just to open the case, make sure they're in there. Like, do I got them? Yeah, they're there. Cool. So that's a little bit weaker. And I don't know what it is. I'm trying to find a way to describe it. Maybe it's the weight. But this plastic feels a lot cheaper. Maybe because it is. Like, I'm sure Samsung probably found more affordable ways of constructing these. But, like, the plastic feels... How do I describe it? It feels like a TV remote. Like we have a Roku TV remote. It feels like that plasticky, glossy, like, it's very cheap material. And AirPods, for some reason, don't have that feel to them. Maybe it's the grip. It's, like, less slippery. Huh. I don't know. But the AirPods are making a noise right now. The top lid rocks back and forth. This was the same problem the original AirPods had. So when the lid will... You hear that? The lid will slide back and forth a little bit when you apply pressure that way. The AirPods Pro are doing the same thing right now. You can hear it. And I don't think the Galaxy Buds Plus do that. No, they don't. Nothing. You can't hear it. So that's nice. I appreciate that they figured that out. Not that it's really a functional issue. It's just a little noise. Okay, let's catch up on some donations. Overachiever donated, says, I've enjoyed your videos on credit cards because I'm relatively new to credit, as I just got my first credit card at the start of last year. And since I'm in love with shopping on Amazon and I'm loving Prime, I'm really considering a Prime Rewards card, which gives 5% cash back on Amazon, which sells literally everything. Yeah, that's a good deal. If you're a frequent buyer of stuff on Amazon, I would recommend that one for sure. Chris Norton, holy cow, he's the record holder today. He donated 1,001 bits, and he says, am I subscribed? I believe you are. You have the blue T next to your name, so, but wow, that's a big donation. That's, I think, $10. Thank you very much. That was nice of you. AirPods feel like an Apple Pencil. Yes, true. You're using the AirPods much longer. I think the same will happen with Galaxy Buds in a few weeks. Oh, you're just saying that the no, I kind of remember that being a problem with the case on day one. That if you applied pressure side to side, I don't think it just gets loose with time. This feels like a very different hinge mechanism. AirPods have like a very traditional looking hinge, whereas this one's a little bit more incorporated. I don't know what I'm saying. Does that make sense? It doesn't feel like the same hinge technology. I don't think this will get weaker with time, but I don't know. The Z Flip got weaker with time, so maybe we should assume that. Foldable Galaxy Buds. When are we getting that? Um, let's see. It's a different grip, but you can. Yeah, correct, Dalton. It's a little bit different grip. Will you have a badge for 2-year subscribers? Does Twitch let you do that? I think so. I should get one ready. That would be a good idea for people who have subbed with Twitch Prime. Yes, if they do, then yes. So I would say just keep Twitch priming. And what should it be? I was thinking like a white tee, because that's all I can think of so far. I don't know what else to do. We just had the T logo at... How long do you have to sub? I think it's a year. You Twitch Prime for a year and you get the blue tee, or is it... does it 3 months is Touch ID, 6 months is Face ID, and then a year is the blue tee. So after 2 years, it should be like the white tee or something like that. Galaxy Buds Plus with watch mechanics in the hinge. There you go. Love your videos. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the dono. How am I enjoying the Ultra? It's okay. It's a mixed bag. There's a bunch of stuff about the Ultra I love, and there's a bunch of stuff that's just really dumb. So it's kind of a mixed bag. There's a lot. It's not the situation of like I want to ditch my iPhone. There's aspects of this that make me hate my iPhone more though. But sadly, there's enough bad about the Ultra that I kind of miss my iPhone. It's not so much that I miss my iPhone as much as I miss iOS, I think is the bigger problem. Just the apps I use, the Google, the Android versions of the apps I use are always terrible. Like Discord and Twitter, and even Creator Studio sometimes. Like compared to the iOS versions, they're so much worse. Discord especially. But the 120 hertz I've had turned on since day one, and my God, is it amazing. Like, I am getting way too comfortable with 120 hertz on this display. Battery life, yeah, it's not fantastic with 120 hertz, but it's decent. I agree with what Marquez said in his video. Like, I could get through the day with 120 hertz. It's not so bad that you have to turn it off for the battery life to be worth it. Like, I can still last throughout the whole day with 120 hertz, but yeah, I can tell that it's not as great as it could be, because I tested the Galaxy S10 Plus, and that battery life was like over 2 days, and I could get that with the Pro Max, depending on your usage. If you're using it heavily and you're recording videos or doing hotspot or that kind of stuff, it'll drain the battery much faster. But yeah, it's not the insane battery life that S10 was, but the S10 didn't have 120 hertz. So I'm sure that if I switched this back to 60, the battery life would be just as good as it was for the S10 Plus, I'm sure. Yeah, becoming a green bubble. That one always sucks. 2-year sub badge should be your face. Well, the tricky part is Twitch requires that the badge for, like, the sub badges have to be, like, a very low resolution. I think it's a maximum of, like, 128 pixels or something like that. So you can't really do much high-resolution stuff. It would have to be a very, very low-quality pixelated badge. But we definitely should do one, I agree. Would you switch to the Ultra if it ran iOS? That's the problem. You can't just switch out the OS and expect everything to change. Like, if the Ultra ran iOS, would that fix the 8K video problems? And, but yeah, the short answer is probably. I think the display's a little too tall. I'm trying to think of hardware issues I have with it. There's not much, though. When it comes to hardware, this is like my favorite Samsung phone ever. There's so much good they did with this. There's so much listening that I appreciate greatly. There's some things they didn't listen about. Some things I don't like about the hardware. The glass back is super glossy, and it's a huge fingerprint magnet. And I miss the matte glass on the iPhone because it feels good, and The frosted glass does not bring a bunch of oils and fingerprints as much as this does, and the camera bump is massive. I mean, I don't have a huge issue with the camera bump on the iPhone. I've been saying for years it would be great if the camera bump wasn't there, but for the sake of having a decent camera performance, you got to deal with it. It's not that bad though. Like it really does not protrude much on the iPhone. It's very thin. Like you guys can barely see the camera module. Like that bump is pretty minimal. On this thing though, look at that. Look at how much it sticks out. And it's enormous. Like just in width, in height, in depth, like how much it sticks out of the phone, it's substantial. How bulky and how large. Like when this thing sits on a table, it rocks so dang heavily. I'm sorry you can't see it, but like compared to the iPhone, it rocks a lot when it's on a flat desk. But I guess most people use cases anyway. But for the most part, yeah, like I'm so grateful they got rid of the Bixby button. Thank you. I'm happy they got rid of the headphone jack. I never used it. I didn't care about it, and they were keeping it on for the sake of marketing. I don't think they were keeping it on because they thought it was the future. So, yeah, the headphone jack being gone is great. The speakers on it are awesome. The cameras on it are decent as well. I think a big holdup I have with the hardware is the biometrics are still okay. The fingerprint reader works some of the time. Like I just tried to unlock it. There it goes. It's a lot of what Marquez said in his review I agree with, which is that it's been a year and they didn't really do anything with the fingerprint reader underneath the display. It would have been nicer if they expanded the amount of the display it would take up. Like if it was more than just this part of the display and they stretched it to like more the bottom half, would have been kind of nice. Face unlock is also pretty spotty. Sometimes it works in good lighting conditions, but something that they've had ever since the Galaxy S8, which I've always found super, super annoying, is that if you're in a dark room and you have face unlock, and I have both because my fingers are always spotty anyway, because I have psoriasis. So I have face unlock and the fingerprint registered, and I like that there's a raise to it. I like that always on display is off by default, which is kind of cool because I was never a fan of always on displays. But look at that, nothing's on it by default. But you can lift it up like this and it turns on, which Samsung phones used to not do, which I like. But I don't think that's exclusive to the Ultra. The face unlock, when you're in a dark environment, it will brighten up the display so it can see you better, which is stupid because oftentimes you're in a dark room and you're tired or something, like in the middle of the night checking your phone, and your eyes are really like, mostly closed. You're like barely opening your eyes, and the phone is like, I can't see you because it's dark, so it starts raising up the brightness, and you're like, yeah. So I've always found that really inconvenient, and something I love about Face ID is it does not depend on the brightness of the environment. It will unlock in the darkest of situations because it's infrared light, not visible light, which face unlock, again, is not very secure. So when it comes to biometrics, I would heavily miss that about the iPhone, even if this thing ran iOS. So I would rather have one really, really good biometric opposed to a couple of okay ones, which is what this is. It's an okay fingerprint reader. It's still kind of weird that when the display's all the way off, you have to kind of just muscle memory know where the scanner is. It's not here. It's not here. You just have to know it's here. Oh, and I'm doing it now, and it's like, no match. That's not it. There it is. So it's still a little edgy. It would definitely be a lot better if the fingerprint scanner was taking up more. But this is a $1,400 phone, so imagine how much that would end up costing if they even expanded the fingerprint reader further. So both aren't like terrible. I'm not saying the Ultra is a terrible phone. I'm just listing issues that I would have with switching over, even if iOS was on it. But one thing I love about the hardware on the Ultra is that they've gotten rid of the edge displays being so drastic. It's a little bit there, barely though. Like you can hardly notice it. Like, can you guys tell that the display is on at 180 degrees? Because with previous generation Samsung phones, that edge display was way more noticeable. It was way more distorted, and you would set off the display on accident all the time. At least for me, with the S10 Plus and the S9 and the S8, like the edge display was just stupid. Like it's one of those stupid like demo things that was like, oh, it's cool because the display goes over the edge, but there's no functional benefit to it. I look at foldable phones the same way I look at the edge display. It was like really, really cool, and people got super pumped for it. And then years go by, they make it less and less noticeable. They turn it up, they turn it down, down, down until now, where it's hardly even there. There is a tiny bit of a curve on the edge display, but it's hardly noticeable. And I'm fine with that. I want them to go completely flat with the displays. I don't need the pixels to be pouring off the sides. So, Ice Universe, or whoever it is that was talking about waterfall displays, the S20 lineup is not encouraging that design trend. They're going the opposite direction. You can turn off Scene Optimizer. The blurry photos become less. Oh, okay, that's good. I thought you can turn the icon on and always on display setting. You can turn on always on display settings, I'm sure. This phone has a million settings. But is there a setting to disable it? Disable what? The brightness thing? Making it brighter will make you want to keep your eyes closed even more. I don't even know if this cares about eye contact, though. Let me try to keep... No, it doesn't. Yeah, my eyes were closed. Okay, I'm gonna keep my eyes closed the whole time. So the phone is off. Closing my eyes. No, I opened my eyes. Sorry, I cheated. I wanted to see if it worked. All right. No, okay. No, it's eye awareness. Okay, I had to peek my eyes open a little before it unlocked. Okay, I stand corrected. Eyes closed. Yeah. Okay. So it needs your eyes, but yeah, you're not gonna want to open your eyes very much if the display's getting brighter and brighter. Can you turn off the icon that shows the location? Turn on the icon that shows the location of the fingerprint reader, but still keep the always on display off. Probably. If you've thought of it, it's probably an option. This thing has so many customizable tweaks and everything. There's like the light always on display mode or something. Bits from Overachiever. So thankful for YouTubers like who's his name, Julian Perkins, and not surprisingly you. You guys showed me that college isn't always really a requirement for financial success. Yeah, definitely not. But there are other ways of making more money other than a degree, like passive income. And I know this is a big decision, but I quit college just a few days ago and want to pursue different passive income streams versus a degree. I learned personally college isn't really for everyone. Very well said. Yeah, it's not. College is really only good if you have a clear and defined goal. You have a career choice that you want to get to, and it requires a degree of some sorts, like a teacher or a doctor, engineer, something that is going to absolutely require one. Whereas there's a lot of jobs out there that don't, but we have a very broken kind of system right now that just tells everyone they need to go to college, and everyone needs college. And if you don't go to college, you're not going to do well. And I know because I grew up in that. Like everybody, all throughout high school was telling me you have to go to college. And if you don't go to college, you're basically going to just, work at McDonald's for the rest of your life, which is not true. You can turn it on to make it require your eyes to be open. Yeah, this requires your eyes to be open. I just did the test. You sound like a boomer when you say 5G is stupid. Try live streaming on 4G LTE. It would be a pixelated mess. Once 5G is everywhere, you would wonder how you could live without it. Okay, boomers would say 5G causes cancer, okay? Boomers would say 5G is stupid, we need more coverage. You can do live streams with 4G LTE. I know because I have done them. And 5G would not be so much better for live streaming because it would only work within one square block of the tower. So if you go inside, then it would become a pixelated mess because you would lose connection of that 5G tower. So that's the whole problem with this whole 5G argument is saying once 5G is everywhere, yeah, that's not very easy. The only way to get good coverage on 5G is to downclock the speeds to 4G, in which case you're going to have the same pixelated mess you're going to have with 4G LTE anyway. So, no, it's not a matter of, yeah, you sound once 5G's. I'm not saying 5G isn't the future. I'm saying they're selling it and advertising it years and years and years before it's even ready. I mean, I just read an article today that says 5G is expected to be like 20% of connectivity in 5 years. A fifth. A fifth of cellular 5 years from now. And we're already selling phones that are going to get software updates for 2 years. But hey, they got 5G modems in them. Boomers would pick the 5G option when they walk into a Verizon because they wouldn't know too much of a difference. Exactly. A boomer would say, will 5G make my phone faster? Even though they're, 10 hours away from a 5G tower. And the phone salesman would be like, yeah, get 5G, it's faster. And then they'd buy it and they'd use the exact same cell service, thinking that it would be faster, even though they're not using 5G tech at all. So it's stupid that they are trying to sell it and advertise it now. The issue with it is they're not even anywhere close to being ready. Even the 5G phones that can support gigabit connections, their battery life tanks. They get way overheated when they do actually have a gigabit connection, as has been tested. When you go to an actual gigabit 5G tower with a 5G phone, it's not good at sustaining the connection. The modems get way too hot, and the coverage sucks. So yeah, there's no 5G iPhones because there's barely any 5G. It's not a thing. T-Mobile tried to make it a thing by just rebranding LTE into 5G, which is stupid to me. It's the whole purpose of next generation should mean faster. It's not like we didn't want 5G just because it's 5G. I thought people were interested in 5G so you could have faster speeds. So if you're getting next generation but it's the same speeds or slower, which has been proven several times, Verizon made that point, it makes 5G even dumber because it means that it's not about speed. It's just adding a number to generation. I've argued with people on Twitter about that. It's like, well, it doesn't matter if it's not gigabit. It's still 5G. It's like, who cares? If it's not faster, why do I want it? Why would I get that? It's not. The whole purpose was so that we could have faster speeds, and if it's not faster, then it's pointless. It's just 4G at that point. Just read an article where they said the S20 series sometimes even shows 5G while it actually uses 4G. Well, I believe it because the whole premise of 5G is based on tricking people. Ever since AT&T started doing the 5G crap, T-Mobile saying, no, we have a way larger network of 5G towers. It's like, yeah, but Verizon 4G is faster than your T-Mobile 5G. Just because T-Mobile's 4G sucks doesn't instantly, to me, make their faster speeds 5G. So now the definition of 5G has shifted from gigabit cellular to now just anything that's faster than 4G. Even if it's like 0.1 megabits faster. That's technically 5G now. And the idea of like the fact that I've seen this happen. I was with my mother at the time. They go to a Verizon location that has flags outside the store that say 5G is here. And they're showing off their different data plans. And they're like, you should get this plan because it has 5G access. Don't get this plan because that doesn't come with 5G. And we are at least 10 hours away from the nearest 5G tower. We're nowhere near a 5G tower. And they're selling it to people as if it's here and you need to buy a phone that has 5G. The point of 5G is more people can use it at the same time. That's not how it's advertised. I've seen that argument made, but you can beef up. That's a funny word. You can beef up the infrastructure of 4G to sustain more people. That doesn't require gigabit speeds. That's not going to help your argument. If you're going to switch everyone on the country over to gigabit speeds, why don't you just switch everybody over to the promised speeds of 4G? Well, because you can't increase your rates for that. Look at South Korea. People over at South Korea can get like 200, 300 megabits a second over 4G connectivity. 5G isn't the purpose here. You can beef up your infrastructure without having to give everyone gigabit. They're rushing the mention of 5G as a marketing gimmick to create a misconception of speed boost for the general dumb public. Only those like us who actually pay attention to the development of the tech will not be fooled. It's quite sad, actually. Corporate greed at its finest. Yeah, I agree. It's not 80% of 5G. That's why they spend so much on advertising 5G. They spend billions of dollars already just trying to get people to get a phone that has 5G because they're seeing all these commercials. Oh, well, 5G is here, 5G is here. T-Mobile says it's everywhere, and Verizon says 5G is here. I better make sure the next phone I buy is 5G, otherwise I'm going to have slower speeds. And they're not missing out on anything. It's just it's banking on people not understanding how it works. I've seen YouTubers stream on LTE and there were a lot of dropped frames. That's because the coverage isn't great. 5G does not help with coverage. In fact, it's worse. It takes like 30 5G towers to compensate one LTE tower. I didn't say 4G was perfect. 4G does have issues. If you're getting slow speeds with 4G, it's typically because of coverage issues or too many people on one tower. You can beef up 4G connectivity's infrastructure without giving everyone, because that's not the advertisement. The advertisement of 5G isn't now everybody can have the same speeds as before. No, the advertisement is no, now you can have faster. You can get faster speeds. Now you get faster speeds. That's not how it works. The fact alone that you have to search for 5G towers, there's no need to say more. Right. You know, it needs 5G, the Apple Watch. Oh, God, yeah. No, it's bad. No, I knew a ton of people in my personal life. I knew like 2 to 3 people, and I interacted with 5 to 6 people on Twitter that genuinely believed they had 5G because of the AT&T thing. Of them saying, oh, my phone says 5GE, and I'm opening web pages and stuff, and it's really fast. That's my point. 5G is only useful when you're running the Ookla speed test app. And also, stop acting like live streams are a common thing everybody does on cellular. It's not. There's only a couple people out there that do IRL streams to where they're like, yes, I live stream, but I'm going to be out and about. I'm not going to be at home. I need to live stream, and I'm going to be out walking around in public. That's not a common thing. That's like less than 1% of what people do with phones. The 99% are watching YouTube videos, browsing Twitter, looking at Instagram. You can do all of that perfectly fine on 4G, maybe occasional FaceTime calls. But again, 4G at its best can handle that. We haven't reached 4G at its best. And we're already hopscotching to the 5G thing because that's the only way they can upcharge. And Qualcomm also forcing everybody to do 5G. If there was a version of this phone that was 4G, I would have bought it. But I can't because Qualcomm said if you want the latest Snapdragon chip, you have to have 5G modems, and those have to be more expensive. And now that Qualcomm is the only company making modems for iPhones, they all have to support 5G. It's kind of out of Apple's jurisdiction now. They don't have a choice. So it doesn't make sense. It's just companies creating supply for something there's no demand for. There's demand for more consistent service. I don't think there's demand for gigabit cellular, though. I just don't believe that. Sure, are there people that want faster internet? Yes, but that's not an issue of 4G not having the technology capable. That's not the problem. You don't need everybody to have gigabit to sustain decent connections. Yeah, coverage is far more important, which is why I did my whole video on Starlink. That's like the most hilarious comment I saw in that video was a guy saying Starlink is like giving food to people who are starving, and 5G is like complaining about a lack of Olive Gardens. I love that comment. That was one of the best comments I've received in a long time, which is so true. That's why it's funny. Is because Starlink is literally just it's trying to give everybody gigabit internet for cheap no matter where you are in the world. You could be in a plane, you could be in a boat in the middle of the ocean. As long as you got that little dish pointed at the sky, boom, gigabit. That's insane. That's amazing. Coverage matters. Coverage is important. And in 5G is like, yeah, but sometimes I want to do 1080p live streams when I'm out and about at a grocery store. Okay, then let's everyone buy phones so that we can all do live streams when we're out and about. They need to focus on perfecting LTE for everyone instead of trying to market something that can't even offer right now. But hey, what do I know? I'm a Joe Schmo from Louisiana. Well, you're a Joe Schmo who doesn't know how to increase profits. The issue is these carrier companies are extremely bloated. They have tons of brick and mortar stores they don't need to have. Carriers should do everything online. I've had great experience with Mint Mobile. I don't know, and I'm not just a techie person. I found out about Mint Mobile from a local friend of ours that's in her 50s. It's like a 50-year-old woman was like, "Oh yeah, I found this really affordable service, and I've contacted them for customer service things, and they've been great." Like, you don't need to have brick and mortar stores all over the country for phone service. It's because Verizon wants to also be a reseller that also stocks up on phones and buys them and gets people locked into contracts. And in order to sustain their huge budget of having all these retail stores and having to pay all the employees there, they have to increase the rates, and they can't sustain all of those rates if they keep phone services the same, so they have to come up with things to increase their rates because the companies are so bloated. Profit schmoffit. Yeah. I understand wanting to future-proof the phones by forcing 5G modems in them, but by the time 5G is fully ready, those phones will be outdated. Yeah, it's not necessary. Like, I get it. It maybe if you want to just have the option. If anything, like, I'm not saying 5G won't be the future. I'm just saying it's way ahead of itself. I feel like at some point in my lifetime, I'm sure we will need, like, okay, we're getting to the point now where the amount of, like, the quality of the videos we're watching or the quality of the music we stream or something, I'm all for progress. I'm all for improvement. It's just that there's a very present and noticeable issue, and that's being neglected to focus on something that's not a problem. Like, if we figured out how to make 4G LTE, maybe via Starlink, I think it's totally possible. If we made kind of like high-powered receivers that would tap into Starlink internet and just become like a cell service, or maybe in the future we figure out how to miniaturize Starlink receivers and put them into smartphones, then yeah, in the future, I'm all for carriers figuring out how to provide gigabit cellular for everyone. It's very much overkill. It's not necessary, but in the future, sure. If you figured out 4G and you can provide, a decent like 100 megabits to everywhere on Earth, great. That's fantastic. And now you want to make it better? That's cool. You can do that. But when we don't have that, when we have coverage issues, as I've seen tons of people comment on videos, and I've seen people bring it up on Twitter all the time, like, I don't even get 4G in these places, or I don't even get good speeds in these places, even though it's technically 4G. It's like, yeah, see, we haven't perfected the technology that is capable of providing decent enough internet for everybody. We haven't perfected it. We're still in the process of bringing coverage to more places and the infrastructure so you can have more people per tower. That does not require 5G technology. I don't buy that crap. It's not a matter of, well, in order to provide internet for more people, we need to give everyone 10 times the speed. No, give everyone the same speed, just with more bandwidth per tower. That doesn't require gigabit for each person. If anything, that contributes to the problem. If everybody in the country all had gigabit, I bet it would slow down and weigh down those towers. In 10 years, we'll have like 10% coverage, and then there will be 6G, which will fix all the problems that 5G promised to fix and that 4G already promised to fix. Exactly. That's what I'm concerned about. It's nice to have a 5G phone to know where is 5G coverage. I guess. I still haven't figured out good use cases for 5G, though, other than the live streaming stuff. I would say start selling 5G phones when you have an adequate infrastructure for it, though, not now. The problem with 5G is that when it has good coverage, people will stream 4K and some probably 8K. No, not on their phones. That's what cellular's all about. Cellular's all about mobile use. Also, another thing I don't buy is all these people saying, well, 5G is much more than phones. It's about, like, doing surgeries remotely and doing... all autonomous vehicles are going to communicate with each other. Okay. The most technologically advanced and future-proof vehicles on the road today are Teslas. They don't have 5G modems, and they don't have any plans on adopting 5G modems anytime soon. And the first vehicles on the road, I'm not saying it's going to be soon, but the first vehicles on the road that are capable of driving themselves, they're not going to be relying on 5G connectivity. If you're talking about in the future that all cars are going to just communicate with each other via cellular access, and that's going to depend on these crappy modems and 5G towers that have to be on, like, telephone poles, that's not going to work for, like, cross-country trips if you have to have a 5G connection in order for autonomous driving to work. That's not how it's going to happen. Autonomous driving hardware and software has to be localized because cars go places where there isn't good service. Tesla knows that. So sure, maybe someday there will be internet accessible enough that all cars can communicate with each other via 5G, but we're talking decades. We're talking decades and decades away. I don't mean 1 or 2. I mean like 4 or 5 decades away before there's enough coverage to the point that cars can all just communicate to each other that way. That's something 5G carriers made up. Oh, this is what 5G will be used for. Like, no car company agreed to that. No car company said, yeah, that's what we're going to do for autonomous driving. We're just going to put 5G modems in all our cars. No one said that. There's just carriers saying this is what it'll be used for. They don't know. Carriers aren't car companies. If anybody knows anything about autonomous driving, ask Tesla. Don't ask Verizon. They don't know what they're talking about. The real problem is that only areas will have 5G support that already have very good 4G coverage, like big cities. True. They're not bringing 5G to places with bad 4G. They're just bringing it to places that already have 4G. In 10 years, we'll have... Yeah, sorry, I already answered that. Logan says, I'm 18 today. I've been with you since I was 15. So happy with how far you have come. Happy 200K. I love EV. Keep going. Never stop. Wow, thank you. Happy birthday. Congrats on turning 18, and thank you. Yeah, I was really overwhelmed and very grateful and satisfied when we hit 200K. I knew it was coming, but it was probably very selfish of me, and it probably just unnecessarily boosted up my ego. But it's just kind of a wave of emotion when we hit 200K. I was like, wow, that's amazing, and I got like overwhelmed with pride of the channel and the audience and you guys and what I've watched, and like it stood out to me that we've hit 200,000 subscribers, and I've never done videos saying like, be sure to click subscribe and hit the little bell icon. Like, I don't do that. I just say what I want, and then I say, what do you guys think? Let me know. And that's it. Like, the fact that you can get a following or an audience that big, and you don't have to remind them to click subscribe in every single video, which so many YouTubers do. And yeah, I know it's probably just a big ego thing, but yeah, I was really excited. I was really happy. Earth is probably not even going to survive to see an industry standard 5G. We're all going to be dead because 5G is going to kill us, right? Love him or hate him, Drew is speaking straight facts. Well, it's true that I definitely don't know much of what I'm talking about. I just know what I have opinions on. And I know from firsthand experience what issues we have with cellular. And I just I have never once felt for a second that we needed gigabit cellular. What's far more important is getting 100 megabits to everyone. Focus on that. Then you can do gigabit. I'm fine with you improving if nothing's wrong and you've established 4G, but that hasn't happened. Had a Verizon rep tell me, try to sell me a 5G phone. I told her that this is WV, is that West Virginia? And 5G won't be a thing for years. She said she was at a seminar and said that it would be sooner. I told her I am a network admin, went to a seminar that said her seminar was a lie. Her seminar was a lie. It's just, yeah. That's the thing, is it gives them all something to sell. Like, it's an upscale. Like, there were a bunch of people that corrected me because I said that 5G costs more. They were like, T-Mobile isn't charging more. T-Mobile is the same price. 5G access is 4G. There's no price increase. And I'm like, it's not all about the plans. The companies that are advertising 5G also sell phones. There are certain phones right now that have 5G. There are other phones that don't have 5G. And typically the 5G ones are way more expensive. So the company can make a higher profit if they get you to buy the 5G one. So if you advertise so heavily that you have the nation's most... the best coverage of 5G, even if it's slower than 4G. We have the best 5G coverage of every carrier, and they go into the store, and they're like, I want to buy this phone. And they'd be like, well, that one doesn't get you 5G, which we're talking about all over the place now. So if you want to have access to the 5G network, which we have the best one, you better pay more. That's all what it comes down to, is just tricking people. That's all it is. It's mostly based on a trick, whereas Starlink, they've spent like pretty much nothing on advertising. Can you guys think of a time you saw a commercial for Starlink? I can't think of a single time. I really can't. I'm like trying to imagine a time you saw like a web ad or a little side commercial or a cable's TV that was like, "Stay tuned for Starlink launching later this year." Like I haven't seen a single one, and that's probably because they use their money wisely, and instead of spending billions on tricking people, they're just telling them, "Hey, they're not telling anybody anything. They're just saying this is what we're going to do." Maybe when Starlink officially launches, they'll probably try to tell more people about it. Maybe they'll start advertising it when it's available, but I kind of hope they don't because then it can be kind of a smaller niche thing that only a few people know to connect to because boomers will probably not sign up for Starlink because Starlink is just internet. It doesn't come with like cable TV packages or anything like that. So boomers will be like, "What's Starlink?" And they're like, "Oh, it just provides high speed internet." And you're like, "Yeah, but I have internet. It's fine. I got Wi-Fi and I need my cable TV and I need my home phone." So boomers will be like, "Nah, I don't need Starlink." But the youngins, the ones who understand like, "I don't care about cable TV. I just stream everything on Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, and YouTube and stuff like that." They'll be like, "No, I just want cheap internet." And the fact that there's a lot of places you can't get good speeds for the price, and with Starlink being like, "Are you on planet Earth?" Then just point it at the sky and you'll be good. Like, I'm sure it may not be as good as they're saying it's going to be because I want to be real about Starlink for a second. No one's ever attempted this. No one. Satellite internet has not been done in this way ever. This is a first of its kind. The closest thing to satellite internet is HughesNet, and they set up that satellite like in the 90s. And there's like one or two satellites that every dish on the whole planet has to point at one or two. And they're at really, really high orbit. It's dated hardware. It's slow. It's affected by the weather. It's not sustainable at all. Starlink is saying like thousands of satellites all over the planet, not in geo-synced orbit, and much, much lower, closer, so the signal doesn't have to be as far away, which can improve stability. It means that weather won't affect it as much, which means that since this has never been attempted before, and the early results are promising, like I'm sure it will work in some way, shape, or form. I'm just saying it may not be as good as they're saying it's going to be. Even if it's a tenth as good as they're promising, I would sign up for it for multitude of reasons. For one, upload is way more important to me than download. And I'm in a monopoly area. The only internet provider I can use is Xfinity. There's literally no one else. And they provide gigabit, but it's for download, not upload, which is stupid. I don't know who needs gigabit download. But there are people who would really appreciate gigabit upload, I can tell you that much. I have some friends that we can drive to their place, and they have gigabit up and down, and it's amazing. I wish I could upload all my videos there. But if I could just get 100 megabits up, I would be sold on it immediately. Because right now I'm doing live streams at 1080 at 60, and I'm doing uploading videos all the time, and I'm doing all of that on like 35 megabits upload, and it sucks. So I can compress videos and try to make them smaller and smaller and smaller as much as I can. But I'm always going to be limited by that 35 megabit upload. So if I could get 100, which Starlink is saying that they're going to be advertised, that they're going to get like a gigabit for everybody, which would be awesome. So if I could just get a tenth of that, I would easily pay like well over $100 a month, because currently we're paying over $100 a month for this internet package. So it would not take me much to switch. And the other big reason that's even more important, like even if Starlink was just as good as Xfinity, it wasn't even any better, and it was the same price, I would still switch to Starlink over Xfinity, because that money I'm sending SpaceX is going towards their endeavors and their projects. They want to go to the moon. They want to go to Mars. They're working on Starship. They're working on reusable rockets and trying to make space travel cheaper. And they're going to try to make Starlink better with time. Xfinity does jack nothing. They don't do anything. They're just like, okay, you happy with your service? No, that sucks. We're raising your rates now. Sign up for this 3-year contract, and if you break it, we're going to charge you. It's like, Xfinity's so broken. They will literally they lowered our rates to have a cable TV plan. Like, no, you have to have cable TV. And I'm like, I don't want cable TV. I just want internet. And they're like, well, that costs more. Because they think I'm going to buy subscription channels on their cable TV thing. So in order to activate service, I had to plug in the cable TV box. Stupid. The ancient. I've never wanted cable TV in my life, but they're like, the only way to save money is if you get cable TV. Because they're assuming I'm going to want to sign up for some home phone service or some TLC channel subscription Discovery channel. They want me to sign up for cable TV channels, and I don't care about those. So I would much rather my money monthly, my over $1,000 a year, go to SpaceX so that they can pursue space exploration and work on Starship, than keep feeding money to Xfinity, which is this old, bloated, dated company. Thank you for uploading in 4K at 60. I wish all YouTubers would do that. It's 2020. It's a lot of work. And most people don't watch the video at 4K at 60. Luckily, I'm in a position where it's not that hard, because Final Cut can condense down the file pretty good, and it can make it pretty small. And I just enjoy watching 4K at 60 videos, so that's why I do it. But I wouldn't fault anyone for it. It's completely overkill. I will admit that. Most people don't watch at 4K. I looked at the numbers on my channel recently, and it was like 60% of my viewers are watching on their phones. No one on their phone is watching above 1080p. No one. There's like a tiny percent of you that might be watching at 1440p, but it's very small. The vast majority of people are watching 1080 or lower, and then second place at like 20% was like computers. So some people, which I think most computers are laptops, and a smaller portion of the computer segment is desktop. So some people with desktops, again, not all, some people with desktops can watch your videos at 4K or 8K. Highly doubt very many, though. And the next big chunk of percentage was tablets. So that was a separate category. So it was like phones, computers, 20%, tablets, like 11%, and then below tablets was TVs, which have a higher chance of people watching at 4K, but that's like less than 10%. It was like 9% TVs, and then beneath that, like game consoles, which should count as TVs. But I know some people watch at 4K at 60, but it's not much. It's a very low number. 1080p on iPhone and iPad, and 1440p on PC for me. There you go. Overachiever donated, says, with Starlink becoming a thing, Elon Musk is literally like a real-life Iron Man. Yes, he is. That's why he was in Iron Man 2. It was funny. Slack said, it's seriously hilarious. I just set my parents up with YouTube TV and trashed their cable package. Boomers are learning. Good. Good. The boomers must rise up. Drew is rated G on camera and off camera rated R. Yeah. Probably NC-17 off camera, but why don't you stream on YouTube? I just streamed on YouTube like a couple days ago. Twitch is better for live streaming. They don't have things like Twitch Prime on YouTube, and YouTube's algorithms kind of busted. Like, live streams will affect your average view duration. So YouTube will look at how long you keep people on your videos. So they will look at that duration and be like, okay, this is the percentage of videos people watch. So if you have a really good one, then they'll recommend your videos more often. So if you start live streaming to YouTube, people are tuning in and out. They're coming on, they're going off. And that affects the percentage of the video people are watching. So if you do a bunch of live streams, YouTube will see that as, oh, you don't hold interest that much, because even if it's a 1 hour stream, if people tune in and out, they're like, oh, you don't hold people's interest that much. We're not going to recommend you as regularly. So when that's the case, it can affect your performance of videos. So Twitch is more upfront also with donations. Like Overachiever just donated 4 bits, and Chris Norton donated like 1,000 bits. 1 bit equals 1 penny. I get every cent of that. So when he donates 4 cents, I get 4 cents. YouTube is not upfront about that with Super Chat. People don't know that because YouTube doesn't make it very obvious. But if someone donates $10 on Super Chat, YouTube gets like over $3 of that donation. They get like a good third of every Super Chat. And people don't know it because YouTube's not upfront about it. Twitch is much more upfront about it with the bit system because when you buy bits, yeah, they take a percentage. You'll see it noticeably. It's like 1,000 bits may cost like $12, but at least you get the point, right? Like $2 of that is going to Twitch because they have a platform and they have a service that they have to maintain. So obviously, they need a cut of it. I'm not saying it's bad, but Twitch is more honest. They're showing you, hey, we're taking this much, and YouTube doesn't tell you that. They don't know. So when someone donates $100 to someone on YouTube, they think that YouTuber just got $100. They didn't. They just got $66, which is not the same thing at all. Some other YouTubers said people only watch 10 to 13% of their stream, an average compared to 60-70% of their normal videos. Yeah, and so that screws up the algorithm because YouTube doesn't know how to decipher the differences. Now, I don't really care that much about the algorithm. I don't like really pay that much attention to it. So just for the sake of letting my audience know that I do live streams pretty regularly, I'll try to do one YouTube stream a month. I'll do like one stream on the tech channel every 40 days or so, just to let people know. Like, or if I have something big like the S20 Ultra, I didn't think it would have made a very interesting edited video. So I was like, you know what, I'll do an unboxing, but I'll do it live because people will watch it if it's happening in real time. But if it's not happening in real time, I don't think it's that interesting. So that's why I live streamed that. So occasionally I will do YouTube streams, but and it does affect the algorithm a little bit. It will affect how much my videos get recommended, but I don't care. If your goal is to please the algorithm, you're never going to be satisfied because the algorithm is always changing, and YouTube doesn't even know how it works. It's bizarre. So Twitch is just more built around live streaming. It's just kind of designed for that. So that's why I like Twitch a lot. And also, just if you there's free ways for you to support me. YouTube doesn't have that. The fact that any of you who have Amazon Prime can just subscribe with Twitch Prime here. I get $2.50 every single time you guys Twitch Prime. That's really great, and it costs you nothing because you already have Amazon Prime, so you're not spending anything extra. So if YouTube had something like that, I would be more inclined to live stream. I've been pitching for years now that YouTube should have an option where if you have YouTube Premium, which costs about the same price as Amazon Prime, if not more, and I think it has less benefits than Amazon Prime, you should be able to, for free, support one channel a month. Like, you know how YouTube has like their memberships thing? They should let you become a member of one YouTuber per month if you choose. That should just be built into your YouTube Premium subscription. I love that about Twitch, but YouTube doesn't have anything like that. That would be great if everybody who had YouTube Premium could choose to support me like $2.50 once a month regularly. That would be awesome. I haven't reached peak smartphone evolution. Peak evolution is 8K 60 front back camera, 8K 60 300 hertz screen. It wouldn't really make that big a difference, to be honest with you. Is YouTube is Tailosive Tech? Yeah, big shock. My name here, same name on YouTube. But yeah. No, there's some perks. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but people are way more willing to donate via Super Chat than they are Twitch bits. Maybe because YouTube's a bigger platform or they make it more user-friendly or something. People don't understand the bits system. But whenever I do a YouTube stream, I'll get several people who donate $5, $10 several times. They're like, here's $5, here's $10, here's $5. And on Twitch, it like never happens. That never happens. On Twitch, it's always like, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I appreciate any and all donations. I'm not expecting you guys to donate. It's fine. It's just I've noticed people are way more willing to donate on YouTube than Twitch. And I just don't get it. I don't know why. Maybe it's a user interface thing, but yeah. People are very, very willing in YouTube streams to just throw $10, $20. And Twitch, it's very rare people will donate that much. Chris Norton did $10 this stream. Thank you. But for the most part, Twitch is much, much smaller donations. YouTube super chat system is shown in dollar amounts. Bits seem weird. Currency some people don't get. Yeah, it's just too complicated, I guess. Even if it's a better system, because when you do the dollar system, YouTube takes a cut. People that upload in 24 FPS, like John Morrison, are showing off. How are they showing off? Is it showing off to have less frames in your videos? I don't know. I always thought 60 FPS was showing off because it's like, hey, our technology can do it, our computers can handle it. Let's do it. It looks more lifelike. Make a separate live stream channel for YouTube, Tailosive Live. Nah, I mean I could, but I have Twitch. I don't have the time to do Twitch and a YouTube streaming show, but I think Twitch is a good platform, and I think diversification is important. You know, because YouTube is very broken and very messed up, and I've run into some instances in the past where your very, very harmless mistakes can almost lead to your whole channel getting deleted because of how broken their system is. So it's probably best not to put all of your revenue from one platform. So I definitely get the majority of my revenue from YouTube, but it's important to have backups. It's important to have platforms you can fall back on if something goes wrong or YouTube changes their policy. YouTube decides, hey, you know what? You can't do this anymore. Just watch Gemini Man, which is in 60 FPS, looked awful. Well, I don't think it works as well in movies, but with YouTube videos, we're trying to be we're trying to just talk to you like we're having a conversation. We're just interacting with you, and we're not trying to come across as a performance or a cinematic experience or anything like that. We're just trying to have a conversation, and if I'm looking at the camera trying to have a conversation with you, then making it look as natural as possible, I would say, is a decent idea. Yeah, Twitch needs to exist. I want to have a presence on multiple platforms. That's why we do podcasts. That's why I have an Instagram, I have Twitter, I have YouTube, and I try to stay active on several platforms simultaneously because, yeah, one platform could screw you up very, very quickly if you're not careful. Love all your videos. You should be up there with MQBHD, Linus Tech Tips, and all those other mainstream YouTubers. No, I don't put enough effort or care into my videos. I'm very much more of a fast food channel. That like I spend probably 1 hour per video I make. You know, it takes maybe a little over an hour to produce each of my videos. So those guys put way more thought and way more care into those videos. They deserve the insane subscriber counts that they have. And I think I have more subscribers than I deserve due to the very, very little amount of effort and research I put into my videos. I do deny that, Liquid Retina. I think the channel's overrated, and I think subscribers don't mean much because, on average, my videos get like 20,000 views, and I have 200,000 subscribers. So it shows you how many people are subscribed that don't watch. So it's kind of inflated a little bit in that way. Like, oftentimes the EV channel will get more views than tech, but you wouldn't think of the EV channel as bigger because of the subscriber count. So people can get really caught up with sub counts. I agree with this 10,000%. I get pretty decent revenue from YouTube, but by no means will I ever fully rely on it. Got a federal job in IT, and I got way more confidence in that over YouTube. Don't put any like 100% confidence in anything. Any business or any government job is temporary. You know that nothing's. What is a safest thing to do is things like passive income. Just being smart with your money, for one, is helpful, and figuring out how to what me and my wife have done that we're really proud of is figuring out how to lower our monthly expenses as much as possible, because that's how you can make bad case scenarios still sustainable. You know, if I was still in that big office I used to be in, I think it was not even a year ago. Yeah, we moved out. I think we're coming up on the 1 year mark since we moved out of that big office I used to have. But if I was still in that big office today and I got, whatever, someone sees their picture in my video and they don't like it, so they give me a copyright strike and we get 3 strikes and YouTube deletes the channels, we'd be in huge trouble. we'd be in big trouble because we'd have very, very high monthly expenses between my apartment rent and the office rent, and we'd have no way to pay those bills without the correct income. We could last a couple months off savings, but you'd be out pretty quickly. So you'd have to drastically change, like you'd have to move out really, really quickly. So I'm just grateful we got to move out of that office on our own terms and we didn't move out because we were forced to, which could have been a much more scary and much more depressing way to leave that office. Would be like, well, I love this place, but we just can't afford it anymore because I'm broke and we need to get out of here. That would suck. Instead, saying, you know what, we could afford this place, but it's not really a good use of our money, so we're just going to move out and try to work more efficiently on lower budget so that we can save more, put more money away in the short term, so that in the long term, every dollar we make, we get to keep. That's the advantage of buying a house instead of renting an apartment or a rental like we did. So it lessens the catastrophic failure points, basically. So at this point, I'm happy to say if that happened and we lost all the YouTube channels through some copyright strike or change in policy or Google AdSense deciding they don't want to pay out anymore, we would be fine. I wouldn't have to sell anything. I wouldn't have to change anything. I could keep doing. I guess I wouldn't be doing YouTube, but I would be doing some type of content production. It would probably require me relaunching the Patreon and moving a lot of stuff to Twitch, because Twitch lets you upload videos and I can put ads on them and stuff. So it would suck. I'm not saying it'd be a good thing, but we would be fine. We wouldn't have to sell a bunch of stuff or I wouldn't have to go back to college or get a job or something or flip burgers. I could keep doing what I'm doing now because we've gotten our monthly budget so low. So Tailosive Finance in the making. Tailosive Finance would be on the Talks channel. We wouldn't give that its own channel. Effort isn't why we watch MKBHD. It's them. It's their personality. So yes, we do think you should be on their level. Your opinion is amazing. You hit 1 million. You will hit 1 million on EV in no time. I like how you say it will hit 1 million on EV, not tech. Even though the EV community is much smaller, I can't think of any dedicated EV channels that are over 1 million. There's some car channels that are over 1 million, but no, I'm very grateful for all the growth we've had. Do you think YouTube will ever be dethroned as the go-to streaming social media video site, or do you think that it's too big to fail at this point despite its mistakes? Asks Overachiever. EV is growing faster than tech, though. It was for a while. Now EV has slowed down a little bit, and tech is picking up pretty fast. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. It kind of depends on what happens in the market. Like if someday I'm able to buy a Tesla, that would probably accelerate EV's growth a lot because people would be like, oh, okay, now he has one. But if there's a really exciting iPhone coming out or big leaks for some change in Apple's direction, like AR glasses, if that happened, then that would probably boost up the growth of tech. So it kind of goes back and forth. But to answer your question, Overachiever, YouTube is very, very set in stone for now. At this point, there's really nothing that can compete very heavily with it because people don't like moving platforms. I've discovered that myself. Like when I discovered Twitch and I realized how much better it was for streaming than YouTube was, I was like, guys, everybody who watches me, please check out my Twitch. Check out my Twitch. And just no one wants to. They're just like, I got to download an app. I got to make an account. I don't want to do that. That's too hard. So people are very set with social media. They have a hard time switching away. Like, imagine saying, like, will another social media replace Twitter? It would just be really, really hard because there's so many people and there's so much activity and there's so much news and stuff. Like, if some other site came up and said, hey, we're going to take over Twitter, we're going to become bigger than Twitter, that would be pretty difficult to do. It would not be easy. It would have to be substantially better than Twitter in some way and captivate people enough. But even then, it's hard because even if the social media is better than another, people are just kind of comfortable with their accounts and they don't want to shift and they don't want to try out new things. It would be very, very difficult because of how big YouTube is. Like, I think YouTube has more people on it than Twitter does. So to get some other site to take over as like a video platform, it'll take a lot. And it would also take a ton of time. It would not happen overnight. It would take a very, very long transition process, and it would have to prioritize creators a lot more, because I think that's one thing YouTube struggles at, is prioritizing content creators. So if they found a way to prioritize content creators and they could get a bunch of channels or people to move over all at one time, not just one or two. I'm not talking like Ninja moving to Mixer. I'm not talking about PewDiePie moving to some others. I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people to move over all at once, maybe. But it would be really, really tough to do that, because the only way you can do that is if you promise them money and decent CPMs and monetization, and it's really hard to do that if you don't have a lot of people. So it's really difficult to come up with something that could compete with YouTube. It would be incredibly difficult, because EV in the next 5 years will blow up. Tesla in 5 years will be insane, as well as other EVs coming out and being announced. Yeah, Logan's, you're not wrong to assume that. I just thought it was I thought it was funny that you were like, yeah, EV will hit 1 million. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff that could happen in the tech world. For the longest time, the tech channel kind of, its bread and butter was making videos about iPhones and leaks for the next gen iPhones. And it's not completely gone away. Occasionally I'll do a video on the future iPhone and it doesn't do very well. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just not 2017 anymore. Back in 2017, you could just make iPhone videos nonstop and they would do well. But then occasionally you'll do a video on the iPhone 12 and it actually blows up and a bunch of people watch it. And you're like, okay, so there's a little bit of that still there. But I do agree that talking about smartphones and changes to the smartphone industry are going to get harder and harder to report on regularly. Back in 2017, it felt like you could do a new iPhone 8 leaks video or rumor video or patent video on the new iPhone coming out this year. You could do a new one every single day, easily. There was plenty of leaks and rumors and concepts coming out every day that you could just make one a day and be fine, and you'd get a ton of views out of it. You couldn't do it now. There's not enough to talk about. It wouldn't be sustainable, and it would be really boring. There's occasional stuff that comes out that does really well, but for the most part, it isn't that sustainable. Like, it's just going to get worse. That problem's not going to improve. It's not improving with foldables. It's not improving with the stupid TCL rollable display thing. Like, that's not going to change it. That's the smartphones industry's desperate attempt at staying relevant and exciting, and it's not going to work. But occasionally you have something like the Starlink video. Starlink is better than 5G. I made that not thinking it would do well at all. I was like, this isn't about Apple. This isn't about Samsung. This isn't about laptops or Macs or computers. This is just an internet debate. So this is going to flop, but I don't care, because I'm passionate about the subject. And ultimately, that's what matters most to me, is just making topics that I care about. So I'm going to make this topic because Starlink is spending no money on advertising. So I'm just going to make this video because I care about it. And then it explodes and it gets a ton of views. And I'm like, okay, there's another example of me saying, I didn't think that would do well, and now it does. So there might be other stuff in the tech world that takes off that may carry that channel. But I can tell you pretty confidently it's really not going to be phones. Phones are going to run out of steam here pretty quick. Like, you asked the question, have we reached peak smartphone? We're dang close. We're getting there. There's only a couple more things they can do with these phones before they're indistinguishable year after year. Get rid of the notch, shrink those bezels a little bit, and the front of the phone is going to be identical every single year from then on. And I'm not too worried about coverage and updates and things to talk about for this year's iPhone, but I'm getting pretty scared about the 2021 iPhone. Honestly, what is there going to... Let's say, all right, we get USB-C. Let's just assume. We're going to get USB-C. We're going to get ProMotion. We're going to get night mode on all three lenses. All right, they improved the telephoto. Now you can zoom in really, really far. You got ultra-wide. You got regular. You got great multi-day battery life. Cool. You remove the notch. Face ID is great. Face ID is fast. You make the CPU even faster. Okay, they bring 8K video to the iPhone. Now what? Now what do you do? faster charging. Like you can't you can't go much further with the iPhones. Whereas the reason I'm putting a lot of emphasis and a lot of time into the EV channel right now is is that I see that industry in its infancy right now. Like it's just now starting to pick up traction. I didn't want to make a Tailosive auto channel or a Tailosive cars because I knew that ice cars are on the way out. It's just inevitable. All companies that have any logical sense to them know that electric vehicles are the future. So calling it EV is just kind of saying in the early stages of the channel, it's mostly going to be about Tesla. In the long term, we can talk about other EVs, but I'm not interested in any new gas car. I don't care about those. If you're making Tesla competition, I'm interested, but that's about it. I'm going to specify myself to that portion of the market, but that market is going to explode over the next few decades. So that's going to grow a lot. Tesla's getting more and more popular. They're getting more and more well known. People are taking them more and more seriously. And that was definitely proven to me by the Cybertruck event when that was the first video I ever made that surpassed 1 million views. I was like, okay, this is big. This has now surpassed every video I've ever made in my life. So that proves there is common interest and there are people that are interested in this market. I think it can have a designated channel now. So Apple is always going to be near and dear to me. I'm always going to love iPhones, I think, unless they do something real stupid. But I'm always going to love and follow Apple for whatever they happen to do. But the changes they do year to over year are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Whereas EVs, I think, are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. With the amount of changes they do, in the advancements we see, in the functionality we get out of them, it's just going to become a bigger and bigger deal throughout the decade. But let me catch up with the chat here. RCA, sub with Twitch Prime for 10 months, says, I took your idea of trying to save money, recently paid off all my student loans, and why? Wow. That's wonderful, RCA. My next move is to have passive income. That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's awesome. I'm glad you paid off your student loans. Well done. Oh boy, now we got some people saying, yeah, not to call you out, but I feel like the tech community being so hyped about iPhones is probably coming to an end. I honestly believe that EV will be Tailosive futures, but still going to watch every tech vid. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You don't have to watch every tech vid. I don't expect anybody to do that. But to those of you who do, thank you. Thank you very much. But all I mean is that the tech channel is not, I don't expect the tech channel to die with the iPhone hype. That's a big part of its growth, but there's, like we've seen with the Starlink video, there is other stuff that we can talk about on the tech channel that might be big and might become popular. And whether it's AR glasses or more Apple Watch stuff, or I think the next big thing for the tech channel long term could be the ARM Mac, the switch to ARM. That's kind of going to be a big upcoming, big transition part when Apple starts developing their own custom CPUs for their Macs. May not get as much hype as new iPhones did, but I still think that'll be a big shift in the consumer tech world. And it would be pretty exciting to see the first MacBook with ARM architecture. And yeah, it's a perfect amount of drama, because there's a bunch of people that are going to hate it because they're going to be like, yeah, I can't use my old apps on here. I can't play Minecraft on my MacBook. So that's going to be a big part of it. But ARM is the future, and making like laptops without fans in them that are still really high performance is going to be kind of interesting. So seeing that transition, that'll probably carry a lot of the tech channel for a while. I think Apple in the future will not release a phone every year. Well, it would be kind of hard for them to stop with the iPhone upgrade program, so we'll see, maybe. I don't really agree that there's not much they could do. I think we're thinking too small. People thought years ago that there was nothing better that could be done. There's AR potential, hologram tech, static sensitive, responsive receivers, brainwave tech, all the AI that could really advance. We have no idea how far it will go, but I don't think it's smart to say there's not much left. We're referring to phones, by the way. I'm not referring to technology. We are humanity. We amaze ourselves time and time again. Yeah, no, to be clear, I'm not saying technology has peaked. There is a ton of very, very exciting technology coming out right now. That's some of the most exciting technology I've seen, I think, ever in our existence as humanity. I'm not referring to technology. I'm referring to smartphones. We're kind of coming out with the maximum of what smartphones are capable of doing year over year that are substantial, which is how the tech channel got a lot of its attention. No, I agree with you. AR, hologram, brainwave, AI, all that stuff is up and coming and exciting, and I think it's going to be a big part of our future. And we'll talk more about that on the tech channel in time, I'm sure. But when it comes to smartphone stuff, that's going to get smaller and smaller differences. I think once all the kids who grew up loving iPhone hype will grow into being interested in the EV, and that will blow up like tech channels did in like 2015. Yeah, possibly. I think there's a lot of people who watch Tesla videos that don't own Teslas. Most of the polls I've seen are like 80% even. Like a lot of people watching EV content don't have EVs, and it's partially because phones are something you go out and buy a lot more regularly than cars. Even if someone really, really loves Tesla and they love electric vehicles, they will not buy one for like years because they're just not in a financial position or their life doesn't require it at the time. I'm in that case. I'm an example of that. I'm super into Tesla and I believe they're the future. And my goal right now is to never buy any car that isn't a Tesla ever again. But at this point, I work from home. We don't drive that much, and our Hyundai Sonata gets the job done. It was cheap. It was easy. So hopefully the next car is a Tesla, but we're in no rush. We're not like we don't need to run out and buy one right now. So there's a huge sleeping army of potential customers for Tesla right now that are just not in a position to get one yet, but they will when the time comes. And that's why Tesla's sales growth is going to be exponential because you have younger generations that are all watching these Tesla YouTube videos and they're not going to be able to buy a Tesla as their first car, probably. So as they get older, though, and as they do pursue careers and actually make a living at it and have livelihood, then yeah, that's when they'll start growing up and buying more and more and more Teslas. Most people watching Tesla content, future Tesla buyers. I drive a $3,000 Honda from 2002, but in 10 to 15 years, I'll be a Tesla owner one day. Yep, I'm pretty much in that same boat. My Hyundai cost us $3,500, and I got it right when I was at the end of high school, I think. No, right after I graduated high school. Yeah, I graduated high school and then I got the Sonata, and we have the same car ever since then. And there's just not a huge need, you know. Like when I work from home, how often would I use the Tesla? They probably have to release a new phone every year, even if there are almost no changes. People just expect companies to do that. It is when it's a monthly subscription, yeah. When it's the iPhone upgrade program, and it's like sign up for this program and you get the latest iPhone every year. People would be kind of mad if they signed up for that program and then Apple said, we're not going to release any iPhones this year. You know, that would kind of get people angry. J6 2018 will never get Android 10. Dang it! Can you please buy a Tesla jacket? You know what's funny? I don't think I've ever bought anything from Tesla. I have a ton of Tesla stuff that was given to me because people know I love Tesla, but I haven't bought anything. I have a battery case, not a case. I have a mobile phone battery pack from them. I have the Tesla flag, obviously, you see when I do my dancing. I have a little Hot Wheels Tesla on my desk over there on the iMac Pro. All gifts. I have a Tesla mug, all gifts. I have a Tesla t-shirt, that was also a gift. I've never gone out and just bought something from Tesla. I just keep getting stuff from people. Which is kind of funny, but yeah. Man, this is a long stream. We've been live for like hour 45 minutes. Holy cow. Are people trying to contact me? I'm going to look at my phone and figure out I'm missing the rest of the world. Anyway, Tesla merch is pretty expensive, to be honest. Well, their company has not been raking in a terrible amount of profit. They've been profitable the last couple quarters, but in the span of their existence, they've definitely spent more money than they've made. So that's okay. If they're trying to turn a huge profit on the merch, let them. They need it. They need the money. Don't let them lose money on that. But I gotta get other stuff done, guys. I'm sorry. I got a couple videos done. I wonder how. I like this smaller streams when there's not as many people. Okay, there's 40 people. That's a decent amount. I want to see how the latest EV video is doing. How's the latest tech video doing? 6 out of 10. That's pretty good compared to normal video performance. And let's check on EV. How's EV doing? Whoa! Did you guys know we actually hit 16,000 subscribers on EV yesterday? So that's kind of cool. 7 of 10. That's good too. That's not bad. So yeah, EV is at, wow, EV's at 16,119 subscribers. That's awesome. How's that latest video doing? It's doing pretty good. Cool. Thank you guys for watching them. Those of you who are here. EV's kind of got more potential for growth, I think, because the app's telling me here 80% of people watching the EV videos are not subscribed. 80%. So, you know how a lot of YouTubers say, click the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video, or please click subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. And that always got on my nerves because I watch hours and hours and hours of YouTube every single day. And I'm like, I know how the site works. Okay? I get it. If I want more, I will click subscribe. You don't have to remind me every single time. I'm watching a lot of YouTube, and there's a lot of fluff y'all keep adding. So I have just made an effort to never do that because I think it's pointless. I don't have to actively choose not to. It's just stupid. It's like, if I finish a video with my topics, the best thing I can do is just bounce the topic back to you. Okay, so what do you guys think? Let me know. Bye. That makes perfect sense to me. That's like the perfect outro. So what do you guys think? Have a good day. Not like, okay, let me explain to you how YouTube works. Have you heard of YouTube? But the reason so many channels do it, it works. And I'm mad that it works. I think that's stupid. I'm not willing to do it in my videos, even though it would probably help. If I ended every video with, make sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss the next... If I did that, I would probably get more subscribers. But it's just so stupid. Like, there's a lot of things you could do. You know, you could clickbait people and get more subscribers. You could put inappropriate things in the thumbnail and get more subscribers, but that doesn't make it good. So that's why I don't do those things, you know. So I'm very picky with my audiences and my viewers, you know. Like, I got a lot of views from doing reaction videos, but they brought a poor audience and a lot of dislikes and a lot of toxic people. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. Response videos or drama between other YouTubers, those would also get a lot of clicks and a lot of views. And I was like, yeah, I could do that and get a lot of attention, but no, I don't like the fan base. So I'm very picky. I don't just want viewers or I don't want just subscribers for the sake of subscribers, or I don't just want views for the sake of views. I want like a genuine, productive audience and like constructive conversation best I can. And just people are subscribing because they want to, not because I ask them to. If I miss out on the demographic of people that only subscribe to channels that ask them to, then fine. I'll have hopefully a more independent and more thought-provoking audience. I hate people who talk for 2 minutes about subscribing, the bell icon and all that before even starting the video. Like, do it at the end if you absolutely must, but not at the very beginning. That one makes even less sense to me, that people will tell you to click subscribe before the video's even started. Why would I do that? I haven't seen the video yet. What if this video sucks? Why would I subscribe? I don't know if I'm going to enjoy what it is. Like, the first 30 seconds of a video are just like, make sure to click subscribe and hit the bell icon. And then the video starts and you're like, oh, this is terrible. Why did I subscribe? Now I'm going to unsubscribe. Like, it doesn't even make a little bit of sense to me. But it works probably. So the other one that annoys me that I've seen a lot of channels do, maybe in the EV community more so, but it still annoys me. There's a lot of channels in the EV community that will add in like an overlay animation where just a subscribe button shows up on the screen and the mouse clicks it and it says subscribed and it goes back and the person talking in the video doesn't even address it. They don't even bring it up. They're not saying subscribe. They're just talking about their video and then you're going to add in animations that say, make sure to subscribe while you're talking. It's like, if someone's watching your video, they can see the subscribe button. It's playing. It's playing. It's right there. You don't need to add it on top and say, so when you click it, when you click the subscribe, it's like those Instagram pages that automatically put the heart in the center of the picture because they know that someone's going to like it so that the heart fills in on the Instagram picture and then they get more likes. It's just appealing to such a low IQ demographic. Or I don't care about IQ levels or anything like that. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just such low level thinking. Oh, the video has a subscribe button getting clicked, so I should click it too. It's a really good point. Reasons like this are why you're my favorite. You're not only in it for the numbers, you actually care about what you're doing and want to get to the point of the video without fluff. You're the first person I've seen to do something like that. Well, thank you. I don't think it's proven to be the most financially smart thing to do for a channel, but I appreciate you guys watching it. I'm just grateful I can do this full time. Like, honestly, if I was making half as much as I'm making right now, I would still be happy that I could make anything. If I was making a quarter of what I'm making right now, it would still be a miracle to me that you can just talk and interact with people like this, and that's like a job. You could make money off of that. It's insane to me. Because I enjoy this. It doesn't feel like work. You know, people talk about retirement. I feel like I did retire already because this is just, if money was not a factor and I had billions of dollars, this is what I would be doing. I would pretty much be doing the exact same stuff. So that's how I know it's like I enjoy it, and I don't have this drive of like we just need to make more money and then we can be better off, or we just need to get more views, we just need to get more that. It's like you'll never win. If your goal is just, I'm a failure unless I get this many subscribers, or I'm a failure if I'm not verified on Twitter, or I'm a failure if I'm not a certified YouTube partner, like those goals, those numbers in the algorithm and the numbers you pursue, you'll never be satisfied. You'll never have enough. There will always be another play button. There will always be another milestone. So the best thing you can do is just be content and happy with where you are. And that's what I've tried to do. That's just for the past year or so, I think. I've just tried to be satisfied and happy and grateful in where I am. And that's proven to work out pretty well, too. For a while, I thought, making videos for the EV channel, this isn't profitable, this isn't a good idea. And then that channel really took off, and now it is doing really well. So I'm like, okay, maybe just kind of listen to your heart a little more. Not so much to the finance side of your brain that says, give in to the sponsorships. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. You could just get a little more money. People don't mind. People won't mind. It's like slippery slope. That's when you start excusing things you wouldn't like as a viewer, but you get paid as a creator, so you get more and more okay with it. At this stream has really fallen into insanity since it all started with unboxing these, which are pretty cool. I'll definitely do at least one video with the Galaxy Buds Plus, but it's been fun. It's been real. I appreciate y'all watching. If you would like me to keep making the videos I'm making, keep watching, because that's probably the best thing all of y'all can do. It's often okay to get a reminder. I don't like, subscribe, and click the bell, but it's okay to say, if you like the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice day. I'm not saying it's morally wrong to say that. I'm just saying it's not necessary, is my point. It's redundant. I think after YouTube has been around for 15 years now, people know how the site works. They can figure it out. And also, if someone's watching you on YouTube, they probably are not only watching you. They're watching a lot of people. And all the other channels they're watching are probably saying the same thing. You don't have to say the same thing as everybody else. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying I get annoyed by it, so I'm not going to do it. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in to the live stream. Hope you all have an excellent day. Take care. Bye-bye.